The wind gently crosses the courtyards of an ancient academy nestled between mountains and bamboos. Inside, a group of young people recites classic texts, while a teacher, with infinite patience, corrects each intonation. Although it is not a university in the modern sense of the term, in that space beats one of the oldest forms of transmission of regulated knowledge that is known. If you like this content, do not forget to subscribe and give like, so you can accompany us on this journey through the history of Chinese academies and its impact on modern education. Centuries before Europe consolidated its first medieval universities, China had already developed institutions dedicated to study, reflection, and intellectual formation. These academies, known as Shuyuan, did not emerge from nothing, but were the result of a long educational evolution rooted in Confucian tradition. Understanding the origin of the Shuyuan academies implies tracing a millennial history in which teaching, morality, and society intertwine. This path allows us to ask a provocative question. Could these institutions be considered the world's first universities? The figure of Confucius, the 4th BC, marked a turning point, as it opened the doors of teaching to groups outside the aristocratic elites. Since the spring and autumn period, teachers used to gather disciples in informal spaces where moral, philosophical, and political knowledge was transmitted. The educational system of ancient China was characterized by surprising complexity and hierarchy. Education not only conveyed knowledge, but also formed the moral character of the individual, a central principle in Confucian thought. The term Shuyuan officially appeared in the 8th century AD, during the Tang Dynasty. Initially, it did not designate an educational center in the strict sense, but a space linked to the compilation, correction, and preservation of classical texts. The private academies of the Tang Dynasty were configured as spaces of intellectual retreat that integrated nature and knowledge. In them, literary banquets were held and ideas were exchanged, building knowledge through the collective. Between the end of the Tang Dynasty and the period of the 5 dynasties, China experienced profound political instability, which led to the decline of official schools, leading private academies to assume broader educational functions. Shuyuan academies have characteristics that allow them to be compared with Western universities. However, they were not aimed at granting degrees or formal structuring disciplines, which differentiates them from medieval European universities. The history of the Shuyuan academies reveals a complex evolutionary process in which teaching, culture, and politics intertwine. Their existence questions the Eurocentric narratives about the origin of the university and opens new perspectives on the global history of knowledge.